Chapter 81. First Blood in the City. The shattered table hadn't even finished collapsing when the air in the inn turned heavy. Splinters of wood scattered across the floor, dust hung between them, and in the center of it all, Lin Chen sat, unmoved. The man's hand remained pressed against where the table once stood, his aura surging outward in waves. It wasn't refined, nor was it subtle, but it was powerful, like a raging beast barely contained. Around them, the other patrons had already shifted back, instinctively creating space. No one intervened, no one spoke, because in Stormfall City, this was normal. "You got guts," the man said, his grin widening. Most people would have flinched. Lin Chen finally stood, slowly, his movements calm, controlled. His eyes locked onto the man. "And you've got poor judgment." A ripple passed through the room. Some chuckled quietly, others watched more carefully. The man's grin faltered slightly, then returned, sharper. "I like you less already." Without warning, he struck. His fist tore through the air, carrying raw, explosive force. The sheer pressure alone cracked the floor beneath his feet as he lunged forward. Fast. Lin Chen moved just as quickly. A slight shift, a minimal step. The fist passed inches from his face. Before the man could react, Lin Chen's hand rose and pressed lightly against his chest. Boom! The impact wasn't loud, but it was deep. The man's body froze for a split second, then he was sent flying backward, crashing through two tables before slamming into the far wall. Silence. Everyone stared. The man coughed violently, blood spilling from his mouth as he struggled to stand. His expression, no longer confident. "What the hell?" Lin Chen lowered his hand. "You're too slow." The man roared, anger replacing shock. "You think that's enough?" His aura surged again, stronger, more violent. Cracks spread across the walls. The inn trembled. But Lin Chen didn't move, not yet, because now he felt it. Other auras closing in, outside, above, across the street, watching, waiting. So it begins. The man charged again, this time with everything. His fist burned with energy, his entire body committing to the strike. A reckless attack, a desperate one. Lin Chen exhaled slowly. Then he stepped forward. Their fists met. Boom! The explosion shattered the remaining furniture, sending debris flying in every direction. For a brief moment, they stood locked in place. Then, crack! The man's arm bent unnaturally, his expression twisted in pain. "Arrgh!" Lin Chen's eyes remained calm, cold. "You're done." He moved again, a single strike. Crack! The man's body slammed into the ground, unconscious. Silence returned. No cheers, no applause, only quiet observation. Lin Chen stood in the center of the ruined inn, his aura completely withdrawn once more, as if nothing had happened. But everyone knew something had. "He's strong, too strong, not from around here." Whispers spread. Lin Chen ignored them. Instead, he looked toward the door, because someone had just entered. A thin man, sharp eyes, calm expression. Unlike the others, he wasn't surprised. "So you're the one causing the disturbance." Lin Chen tilted his head slightly. "Another test?" "No. A message." The atmosphere shifted. Stormfall City has rules, not written, not spoken, but enforced. Lin Chen said nothing. Strength earns attention. Another pause. Too much strength attracts problems. Lin Chen smirked faintly. "Good." The man studied him for a moment, then nodded slightly.
You'll fit in." And just like that, he turned and left. The tension lingered. Lin Chen stood still for a moment longer. Then he walked out as well, because he knew this was only the beginning.
Chapter 82. The Hidden Factions. The night air was colder outside. Stormfall City didn't sleep, but it did change. The surface chaos, the fights, the noise, the constant clashes, that was only one layer. Beneath it, something else moved. Lin Chen walked through the dimly lit streets, his senses fully extended now. After the fight in the inn, the number of eyes on him had increased, but their nature had changed. Less curiosity, more calculation. They're evaluating me, not as prey, but as something else, a potential threat or a potential asset. He stopped briefly at a crossroads, closed his eyes, and listened. Voices carried through the wind, fragments of conversation, hidden behind walls, within shadows. New guy. Took down Iron Fang in one move. Which faction will move first? Or will he get eliminated? Lin Chen opened his eyes. Factions. So this city wasn't just chaos. It was controlled chaos, structured, hidden beneath the surface. A faint smile appeared. That makes things more interesting. He continued walking, deeper into the city. The buildings changed, taller, quieter. The noise faded, and the auras became stronger. Here, power wasn't displayed openly. It was concealed, refined, dangerous. Lin Chen's steps slowed slightly, because now he could feel them clearly. 3 directions, 3 distinct presences, each one watching him. Not hiding, not revealing, just observing. So these are the ones in control. He stopped, didn't move further, didn't retreat. He simply stood there, waiting. Moments passed. Then a voice echoed. "You're quite bold." Lin Chen didn't turn. I could say the same. A figure stepped out from the shadows ahead. Tall, dressed in dark blue robes, eyes calm, sharp. At the same time, another presence appeared behind him, and another above. 3. Perfect positioning, no escape. But unlike before, Lin Chen didn't feel immediate hostility, only interest. "Newcomer," the man in blue said, "you've made quite an entrance." Lin Chen replied calmly, "I didn't realize I needed permission." A faint chuckle came from behind him. "You don't." A pause. "But everything has a price." Lin Chen's gaze hardened slightly. "And what's mine?" Silence lingered. Then the man in blue smiled faintly. "It depends on how useful you are." The air grew still. Lin Chen understood. This wasn't a threat. It was an invitation, or a test, or both. 3 major factions control Stormfall City, the man in blue said. "We maintain balance." "Barely," the voice above added. "Without us, this place would collapse." Lin Chen listened, analyzed. 3 factions, 3 powers, and now they were all watching him. "So," the man in blue said, stepping closer, "which side will you choose?" Lin Chen was silent for a moment. Then he smiled. "None." The atmosphere shifted instantly. Interest turned sharp. "Oh." Lin Chen's eyes gleamed faintly. "I don't join factions." A pause. "I outgrow them." Silence. Then laughter. Low, amused, ambitious, or foolish, or both. Lin Chen didn't respond because his answer was already given. The 3 presences lingered for a moment longer. Then
One by one, they vanished, but their attention did not. Lin Chen exhaled slowly. So this is the game. A city ruled by hidden powers, a balance maintained by strength, and now he had stepped into it, not as a participant, but as a variable, a disruption, a threat, a possibility. A faint smile formed. Good. He looked toward the deeper parts of the city. Let's see how long your balance lasts.
Chapter 83. The First Offer. Stormfall City did not welcome sleep. Even in the quietest districts, something always moved. Information, ambition, killing intent. By the time dawn threatened the horizon, the city had already lived through another night of silent deals and unseen clashes. Lin Chen stood on the rooftop of a tall building overlooking the city. From here, everything seemed smaller, controlled, predictable, but he knew better. They've already made their move. Since leaving the crossroads, the number of watchers had decreased, but only on the surface. The obvious eyes were gone, replaced by something far more subtle, better trained, better hidden. They're testing restraint now, not provoking him, not attacking, waiting. Lin Chen closed his eyes briefly, feeling the flow of the city. The deeper he looked, the clearer it became. Stormfall City wasn't chaotic, it was layered. Outer layer, chaos and violence. Inner layer, control and calculation. Core, power. And now he had reached the second layer. A faint sound broke the silence behind him. Footsteps. Light, measured. Lin Chen didn't turn. "You're late." A soft chuckle followed. "I wanted to see how long it would take for you to notice." Lin Chen turned slightly. The man in dark blue robes stood a few steps away, the same one from before. Calm expression, sharp eyes. "You're one of the three," Lin Chen said. "Correct." A pause. "You can call me Yan Rui." Lin Chen didn't respond with his own name. Yan Rui didn't press. "That answer last night," Yan Rui continued, stepping closer, "was bold. It was honest." Yan Rui smiled faintly. "Honesty is dangerous here. So is weakness." The two stood facing each other, the air moving quietly between them. Yan Rui studied him carefully. "You're not from Stormfall." "No." "You're not from any nearby region either." Lin Chen remained silent. Yan Rui's eyes gleamed slightly. "And yet, you're already at this level." A pause. "That makes you valuable." There it was, the offer. Lin Chen crossed his arms. "Get to the point." Yan Rui didn't hesitate. "Join us." Direct. Simple. Expected. "We are one of the three ruling factions. We control the eastern districts, the trade routes, and most of the information network in the city." Lin Chen listened. "With us, you'll have resources, protection, and access to knowledge you won't find anywhere else in this region." A brief silence followed. "Without us," Yan Rui's tone lowered slightly, "you'll be targeted." Lin Chen smirked faintly. "I already am." Yan Rui didn't deny it. "Then you understand the situation." Lin Chen turned slightly, looking out over the city again. "What do you want in return?" Yan Rui's answer was immediate. "Loyalty." A pause. "And strength." Lin Chen's eyes narrowed slightly. "Meaning?" "You act when needed. You fight when required. You represent our faction when necessary." Lin Chen nodded slowly. "And when I outgrow you?" Silence. For the first time, Yan Rui didn't respond immediately. "Then we'll see." That answer was enough. Lin Chen turned fully. "No." Simple, clear, final. Yan Rui's expression didn't change.
Then I expected that. Then why ask? Because, Jan Rui said calmly, everyone refuses the first offer, a pause, but not everyone survives long enough to refuse the second. The air shifted, not with killing intent, but with meaning. Lin Chen smiled faintly. Then I'll make sure I'm still alive when it comes. Jan Rui studied him for a moment longer, then nodded. Good. He turned to leave, then stopped. One piece of advice. Lin Chen didn't respond. Jan Rui glanced back slightly. The other two factions are, a faint smile appeared, not as patient as we are. And then he was gone. The rooftop fell silent once more. Lin Chen exhaled slowly. So it starts. The first move had been made, and he had refused it.
Chapter 84. Refusal and Consequences. The city reacted faster than expected. By midday, the atmosphere had changed. It wasn't obvious, not to ordinary cultivators, but to Lin Chen, it was unmistakable. They've shifted. The subtle balance from before had tilted, not broken, but disturbed. And at the center of that disturbance was him. As he walked through the streets, the difference was clear. Fewer casual glances, more deliberate ones. Less curiosity, more intent. They've marked me. Not publicly, not openly, but within the deeper layers of the city, his existence was now acknowledged and contested. A group of cultivators blocked his path, 5 of them, not reckless, not loud, controlled. Their auras were restrained, but solid, disciplined, different from the man in the inn. "You're Lin Chen." It wasn't a question. Lin Chen stopped. "And you are?" "No one important." A pause. "But we've been asked to test something." Lin Chen sighed quietly. "Of course you have." The 5 spread out slightly. Formation. Not perfect, but trained. "Last chance," one of them said. "Join a faction." Lin Chen looked at them, then smiled. "I already gave my answer." Silence. Then they moved. Fast, coordinated. Their attacks came from multiple angles, each one timed to limit movement and force a reaction. Lin Chen stepped forward, not back. Boom! His fist met the first attacker's strike, breaking through instantly. Crack! The man's arm shattered. Before the others could adjust, Lin Chen was already moving. His new energy flowed smoothly now, no longer erupting wildly, but reinforcing every movement with precise bursts of power. A palm strike, boom, another fell. A kick, crack, a third collapsed. The remaining 2 hesitated. Too late. Lin Chen closed the distance instantly. 2 strikes, 2 bodies hit the ground. Silence. The entire exchange, over in seconds. The street had gone quiet, not out of fear, but recognition. They sent a test group. Lin Chen looked down at the fallen cultivators. And they failed. A faint ripple spread through the surrounding buildings. Observers, reporting, calculating. Lin Chen raised his head slightly. "You're watching." Not a question, a statement. His voice carried just enough to be heard by those who mattered. "If this is how you test people," a faint smile appeared, "you'll run out of pieces." Silence followed. Then the pressure disappeared, just slightly, but enough. Lin Chen turned and continued walking, because he understood now. This wasn't retaliation, not yet. This was measurement, the first consequence of refusal. And there would be more, much more. As he disappeared into the deeper parts of the city, the shadows shifted again. The game had changed, and Lin Chen had just made himself a central piece. Chapter 85. A Dangerous Invitation. Stormfall City did not forget.
By evening, the news had already spread through every hidden channel, whispered across rooftops, and passed between shadowed figures who never revealed their faces. A newcomer. Refused a faction. Defeated a test squad in seconds. Still alive. Lin Chen walked through the quieter districts, his pace unhurried, but his awareness fully sharpened. The city had stopped pretending. The watchers were no longer subtle. They didn't hide, didn't bother masking their intent. They've moved past observation. Now they were deciding. A faint breeze passed through the alley he had just entered. Too clean, too controlled. Lin Chen stopped. Finally. A ripple formed ahead of him. The air distorted, then parted. A figure stepped out, tall, elegant, dressed in deep crimson robes that seemed to absorb the surrounding light. Her long hair flowed like ink, her eyes calm yet dangerous, like a blade hidden beneath silk. Unlike the others, she didn't conceal her presence. Her aura spread naturally, heavy, dominating. Lin Chen's gaze sharpened slightly. Strong. She smiled faintly. So you're the one. Her voice was soft, but it carried weight. Lin Chen didn't respond immediately. Instead, he observed her breathing, her stance, her energy, refined, controlled, far beyond the previous opponents. You've caused quite a stir, she continued, stepping closer. Refusing Yan Ri, defeating the test group. A pause. You're either very confident, her eyes gleamed slightly, or very foolish. Lin Chen met her gaze. Which one do you think? She chuckled softly. I haven't decided yet. Silence lingered between them. Then she raised her hand slightly. A small token appeared. Dark, engraved with intricate markings. She flicked it toward him. Lin Chen caught it effortlessly. What's this? An invitation. To where? She turned slightly, her robes flowing gently. To meet someone who's interested in you. Lin Chen examined the token briefly. The energy within it was subtle, but deep, not something ordinary. Another faction? She didn't deny it. The one that doesn't ask twice. A pause. And doesn't like being refused. Lin Chen smiled faintly. That sounds like a threat. It's a warning. Her gaze met his again. You've already rejected one side. Correct. If you reject this one, she stepped closer, things will get complicated. Lin Chen didn't move, didn't react. Everything here is already complicated. A brief silence followed. Then she smiled. Good. A pause. That means you're not naive. She turned away. The meeting is tonight. She began walking. Come. Lin Chen looked at the token once more, then at her back. And if I don't? She stopped, but didn't turn. Then next time we meet, her voice lowered slightly, it won't be an invitation. Silence. Then she continued walking. Lin Chen stood there for a moment, thinking, calculating. Then he moved, following her.
Chapter 86. Into the Lion's Den. The deeper parts of Stormfall City were different. The noise faded. The chaos disappeared. What remained was control. Lin Chen followed silently behind the woman, his senses scanning everything around him. Every corner, every shadow, every fluctuation. They've prepared this. This wasn't a casual meeting. It was deliberate, strategic, a test, or a trap, or both. They stopped before a large building. Unlike the others, it wasn't flashy. No visible guards, no obvious defenses. But the moment Lin Chen stepped closer, he felt it. Layers, hidden formations, barriers stacked upon barriers, a fortress disguised as simplicity. Interesting. The woman glanced back slightly. Scared? Lin Chen smirked faintly. If I was, I wouldn't be here. She didn't respond. Instead, she raised her hand. The door opened silently. Then come in. Lin Chen stepped inside. The moment he crossed the threshold, the space changed. The interior was vast, far larger than the exterior suggested. A formation, space manipulation. His eyes narrowed slightly. Not bad. Careful, the woman said lightly. Compliments here tend to be taken seriously. They walked forward. At the center of the hall, a figure sat, still, silent, waiting. Lin Chen stopped, because the moment he saw him, he understood. This person was dangerous. Not because of visible power, but because of control. Complete. Absolute. You've arrived. The man's voice was calm, measured. He opened his eyes and looked directly at Lin Chen. In that instant, the entire space seemed to tighten. Lin Chen felt it. Pressure. Not overwhelming, but precise. Focused entirely on him. Testing. Measuring. Oh, so this is the one. Lin Chen met his gaze. And you are? A faint smile appeared on the man's face. The one you were invited to meet. A pause. You can call me... He leaned back slightly. The one who decides whether you live in this city. Silence filled the hall. The tension, sharp. But Lin Chen didn't flinch. Instead, he smiled. Then I guess this meeting matters more than I thought. The man's eyes gleamed faintly. Everything in this city matters. A pause. Especially people like you. Lin Chen stepped forward. Let's skip the introductions. His voice calm. What do you want? The man studied him for a moment. Then he laughed softly. Straightforward. A pause. I like that. His gaze sharpened. So I'll be just as direct. Silence. Join me. No explanation, no build-up, just an offer. But unlike the others, this one carried weight, real weight. Because this wasn't a suggestion, it was a decision point. And Lin Chen knew what he said next would decide everything.
Chapter 87. A Choice That Shakes the City. The hall fell completely silent. Not the kind of silence born from calm, but the kind that pressed down on everything, waiting for something to break it. Lin Chen stood facing the seated man, the invitation still echoing in the air. Join me. Simple words, heavy meaning. He didn't answer immediately, not because he hesitated, but because he was thinking. The man didn't rush him, didn't pressure him. He simply watched, calm, confident, as if the outcome was already decided. Lin Chen's gaze shifted slightly, scanning the surroundings again. The woman in crimson stood off to the side, silent but attentive. Hidden presences lingered beyond the visible space, guards, experts, observers. This place wasn't just secure, it was absolute. If I refuse, Lin Chen said slowly, I assume I don't walk out of here. The man smiled faintly. Incorrect. A pause. You might walk out. The implication was clear. Lin Chen chuckled softly. Fair enough. He took a step forward. The pressure in the hall increased slightly. Not hostility, but attention. You already heard my answer once tonight. The man's eyes didn't waver. Yes. And yet you still asked, because your answer here matters more. Lin Chen stopped, just a few steps from the center. Then listen carefully. Silence deepened. I don't join factions. The words fell clearly, without hesitation, without doubt. For a brief moment, nothing happened. Then, the air changed. Not violently, not explosively, but undeniably. The woman in crimson shifted slightly, her aura tightening. The hidden presences grew sharper, focused. The man, however, remained calm. Again, he said softly. Lin Chen met his gaze. Still the same answer. A long pause followed. Then the man laughed. Not loudly, not mockingly, but genuinely. Interesting. He leaned forward slightly, resting his chin on his hand. Do you know how many people have stood where you are? Lin Chen didn't respond. How many have been offered what I just offered you? Another pause. And how many have refused? Silence. The man's smile faded slightly. None. The word echoed, not as a threat, but as a fact. Lin Chen nodded once. Then I guess I'm the first. The tension snapped. Not into chaos, but into something sharper, more dangerous. The man's eyes gleamed faintly. Yes. A pause. You are. For a moment, it seemed like something would happen, an attack, a command, a shift. But instead, the man leaned back, relaxed. Then prove it. Lin Chen's eyes narrowed slightly. Prove what? Prove that you can afford to refuse me. The air grew heavier. You've rejected one faction. Now you've rejected another. A faint smile returned. That means you've placed yourself above the balance of this city. Lin Chen didn't deny it. So prove it. The words carried weight now. Show me the strength to stand alone. A pause. Or accept what happens when you don't. Silence. Lin Chen exhaled slowly. Finally, a faint smile appeared. Something interesting. The man's gaze sharpened. Oh? Lin Chen stepped forward again. You don't want an answer. A pause. You want a result. The man didn't deny it. Then I'll give you one. The moment the words fell, Lin Chen's aura rose, not explosively, not wildly, but steadily, controlled. Gold and crimson intertwined beneath the surface, forming that unique, dangerous energy he had forged through life and death. The space around him trembled slightly. The woman in crimson's eyes narrowed. Again. The hidden presences shifted, alert. The man watched closely. Lin Chen took one more step. I don't belong to your balance. His voice was calm. I break it. Boom! The pressure exploded outward. The hall trembled. And for the first time, the man's expression changed.
Chapter 88. Breaking the Balance. The moment Lin Chen released his aura, the entire hall reacted. Not just the visible space, but everything hidden within it. Formations activated, barriers flickered. The very structure of the building shifted in response to the sudden surge of power. The woman in crimson moved instantly, her aura rising to counterbalance the pressure. Careful, she said sharply, but Lin Chen didn't stop. He stepped forward again, and the energy around him deepened, not expanding, but condensing. The air grew heavy, dense, difficult to breathe. This is different, she muttered, because it was. This wasn't the unstable power from before. This was controlled, refined, dangerous. The man at the center leaned forward slightly, his eyes fixed on Lin Chen. Show me. Lin Chen didn't hesitate. He moved. In an instant, he disappeared. The distance between them vanished. A single strike, precise, focused, no wasted motion. The man raised his hand and blocked it. Clang! The impact rang through the hall like a bell. The space distorted. The floor beneath them cracked. For a brief moment, they were equal. Then the man's arm trembled, just slightly, but enough. The woman's eyes widened. Did he push him back? Lin Chen didn't pause, didn't retreat. He attacked again, faster, stronger. Each strike carried that fused energy, striking not just the body, but the space around it. Boom, boom, boom. The hall shook violently. The man finally stood. His aura surged, and everything changed. The pressure multiplied, crushing, overwhelming. Lin Chen's movement slowed slightly, but not enough. "Good," the man said, his voice lower now. "Very good." Their clash intensified. Energy collided. Space warped. The hidden formations strained under the pressure. Outside, the sky above Stormfall City darkened, because the balance had been broken. The three factions all felt it, all turned their attention, all realized something had changed. Back inside, Lin Chen's breathing grew heavier, but his eyes burned brighter. This is it, the edge, the next step. The man in front of him smiled faintly. As expected, a pause. "You're dangerous." Lin Chen replied calmly, "So are you." They moved again, and this time neither held back. The collision that followed shook the entire district.
Chapter 89. City in Turmoil. The moment their clash peaked, Stormfall City felt it. A deep tremor rolled through the ground, subtle but undeniable. Buildings shook, formations flickered, and countless cultivators paused mid-action, their expressions shifting as they turned toward the same direction, the inner district. What was that? That pressure. Someone's fighting. Not just anyone. Those with sharper senses felt it immediately. Two forces colliding. One, refined, controlled, overwhelming. The other, unfamiliar, sharp, evolving. A newcomer? No, something else. Across the city, hidden figures emerged, on rooftops, within sealed rooms, behind guarded gates. The balance had shifted, and everyone knew it. Back inside the hall, the clash had reached a new level. Boom! The impact forced both figures apart. Lin Chen slid back across the cracked floor, his feet digging deep grooves into the stone before he stabilized himself. His breathing was heavier now, his body strained, but his aura still rising. Across from him, the man stood still, unshaken, but no longer relaxed. "You've crossed the threshold," he said quietly. Lin Chen exhaled slowly. "Not yet." The man's eyes gleamed faintly. "Almost." A brief silence passed between them. Then the pressure returned, stronger, sharper. The man raised his hand again, but this time he didn't strike immediately. Instead, the space around Lin Chen tightened, not crushing, not restraining, measuring. "You're forcing evolution mid-battle," he said. His voice carried a hint of curiosity now. "And surviving it." Lin Chen smirked faintly. "Is that a problem?" "It depends on whether you succeed." Lin Chen's eyes sharpened. "Then watch closely."
He stepped forward again. The energy within him surged, but this time he didn't release it outward. He pulled it inward, compressed it, forced it deeper into his core. His body trembled. Crack! A faint fracture spread across his arm. Blood seeped through his skin, but he didn't stop. The golden and crimson energies twisted tighter, more refined, more dangerous. "He's doing it again," the woman in crimson whispered, her voice tense now, pushing past his limit. The hidden presences stirred uneasily because they could feel it, that unstable edge, that dangerous threshold, and then it broke. Boom! A surge of power erupted from Lin Chen, not explosive, but deep, heavy. The entire hall seemed to sink under its weight. The man's eyes sharpened instantly. There it is. Lin Chen raised his head slowly. His aura had changed, not larger, but denser, sharper, as if every bit of wasted energy had been stripped away, refined into something far more lethal. He moved, this time even faster. The distance vanished. His strike landed. Boom! The man blocked again, but this time he was pushed back. Just one step, but it was enough. The hall fell silent because everyone saw it. He moved.
Chapter 90. The Third Faction Moves. Far from the inner district, in the highest tower of Stormfall City, a figure opened his eyes. So it finally happened. The room was dim, lit only by faint blue light that pulsed along the walls like flowing water. He sat alone, but his presence filled the entire space. Calm, cold, unfathomable. A voice echoed from the shadows. "The second faction has engaged." The man didn't move. And the result? A pause. Unclear. That answer was enough. The man stood slowly. Unclear. A faint smile appeared. Then it's worth seeing. He stepped forward and vanished. Back at the battlefield, the tension had reached its peak. Lin Chen stood facing the man once more. The air between them distorted. Both had stopped moving, but not because the fight was over, because something else had entered. A ripple spread through the hall, not from inside, but from outside, a presence, cold, deep, unavoidable. The woman in crimson's expression changed instantly. Him. The man in front of Lin Chen narrowed his eyes slightly. "So you decided to come." The space behind them split open, and a figure stepped through. Tall, dressed in dark robes, his presence silent but absolute. Lin Chen turned slightly. The moment he saw him, his instincts reacted, not with fear, but with recognition. Danger. Another one. The newcomer's gaze swept across the hall, stopping on Lin Chen. "So this is the one." His voice was calm, but unlike the others, there was no curiosity, no interest, only decision. "You've caused enough disturbance." The air froze. The man in front of Lin Chen spoke calmly. "You're early." The newcomer didn't look at him. "I'm on time." A pause. "This ends now." The pressure exploded, far greater than before. Lin Chen's body tensed instantly. Stronger, not slightly, not comparable, but clearly a step above. The man in front of him exhaled slowly. "You always hurry things, and you always hesitate." The two exchanged a glance. Then, without warning, they moved, but not at each other, at Lin Chen.
Chapter 91. Surrounded by monsters. The moment they moved, Lin Chen understood. This was no longer a test. It was suppression.
Two figures, two overwhelming presences, closing in from different directions. No hesitation, no restraint. They weren't trying to measure him anymore. They were trying to end it. Lin Chen's instincts roared. Every nerve in his body screamed at once. Danger. Absolute danger. But he didn't retreat. Couldn't, because the moment he did, he would lose everything. Boom! The man before him struck first. A single palm. Simple, direct, but the force behind it crushed the air itself. Lin Chen raised his arm instantly. Clang! The impact rang through his bones. His entire body trembled as he was forced back, his feet tearing through the ground. Pain surged up his arm. Too heavy. Before he could recover, the second attack came. From behind, the newcomer, silent, precise, a strike that carried no excess movement, only intent. Lin Chen twisted his body at the last second. Boom! The attack grazed his side and still sent him crashing across the hall. He hit the ground hard, rolled, forced himself up again. Blood dripped from his lips, his breathing uneven, but his eyes sharp as ever. Two of them. One alone had pushed him to his limit. Two was something else entirely. Across from him, the two men stood side by side now, no longer separate, no longer competing, aligned. The woman in crimson stepped back further, her expression tense. They're serious. Even she didn't intervene, because this was beyond her. Lin Chen exhaled slowly. Good. The word came out low, steady. If it's going to be like this, his aura began to rise again, then I'll go all the way. The fused energy within him surged, gold and crimson twisted together, but this time something deeper responded. From within, from the very core of his being, the heaven-defying stone pulsed, not gently, but violently, as if reacting to the pressure, to the threat, to the need to evolve. Chapter 92. Forced Breakthrough. The moment the pressure reached its peak, something snapped. Not externally, but internally. Within Lin Chen. Boom! A surge of energy erupted from his body. Wild, unstable, explosive. The entire hall shook violently as cracks spread across the walls and floor. The two men stopped, not retreating, but observing. Again? The first one murmured. No, the second replied quietly. This is different. Lin Chen stood at the center of the storm. His body trembled violently. Cracks spread across his skin, glowing faintly with gold and crimson light. Blood flowed freely, but his aura was rising, rapidly, too rapidly. This isn't controlled, the woman whispered. It's forced. And she was right. This wasn't a breakthrough achieved through calm cultivation. This was survival, a desperate push beyond limits, a forced evolution. Lin Chen's breathing grew heavier, his vision blurred, his thoughts fragmenting. But one thing remained clear. I can't lose here. The energy inside him spiraled out of control. The balance he had achieved was breaking. The golden light flared. The crimson energy roared. They collided again, violently. But this time, instead of stabilizing, they began to merge further, deeper, more completely. His body trembled under the strain. Crack! 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 His meridians stretched to their limit. His bones creaked under the pressure, his very existence on the verge of collapse. And yet he pushed further. Stop! A voice echoed, not from outside, but within, deep, ancient, the sealed heart. You'll destroy yourself. Lin Chen didn't respond, didn't hesitate. Good, his voice was hoarse.
then I'll rebuild." The presence went silent. Then a low, amused sound echoed. "Madness." A pause. "I like it." The crimson energy surged, not resisting now, but cooperating. The golden light responded, and for a brief moment, perfect alignment. Boom! A new wave of power exploded outward, different, heavier, deeper. The entire hall trembled violently. The two men's expressions changed. He succeeded. Lin Chen lifted his head slowly. His eyes, no longer just gold and crimson, but something darker, something deeper, a fusion that had crossed another boundary. He stepped forward, and this time the pressure around him didn't collapse. It resisted, matched, balanced. The two men looked at him, not with curiosity, not with interest, but with recognition. "Now you're qualified." Lin Chen smiled faintly. "To what?" The answer came at the same time. "To be killed seriously." They moved again, and this time Lin Chen moved with them.
Chapter 93, Clash of Three Powers. The moment all three moved, the hall could no longer contain them. Boom! The collision shattered the remaining restraints on the space. Hidden formations cracked one after another, unable to withstand the sheer force erupting within. The floor collapsed, walls fractured, the carefully controlled environment was gone. Lin Chen stepped into the storm. His body still bore the marks of his forced breakthrough, fine cracks along his skin, faint traces of blood, unstable currents of power flickering beneath the surface. But his aura had changed completely. Dense, condensed, heavy. No longer something that surged outward wildly, but something that pressed inward, then struck with terrifying precision. The first man attacked from the front, a palm strike, simple, but this time Lin Chen didn't just block, he met it. Boom! The impact echoed like thunder, shock waves tearing through the broken hall and spilling into the sky above. For a brief moment, they stood locked again. But unlike before, Lin Chen didn't move, not even an inch. The man's eyes narrowed slightly. "You've stabilized it." Lin Chen didn't respond because the second attack came from the side, the third faction leader, faster than before, sharper. His strike cut through the air like a blade, aimed directly at Lin Chen's core. This time, Lin Chen didn't dodge, he turned and caught it. Clang! The impact sent ripples through the surrounding space, distorting the air like water under pressure. For a split second, everything froze. Three forces, 3 points of contact, balanced. Then it exploded. Boom! The entire structure collapsed completely, unable to withstand the clash. The roof shattered, the walls disintegrated, the battle burst into the open air. Above Stormfall City, the sky split with lightning. Cultivators across the city stopped, looked up, because now they could see it. 3 figures standing in the sky, clashing. What the hell is that? That's not a normal fight. Those are monsters. Back in the air, the battle intensified. Lin Chen moved first, not defensively, aggressively. He stepped forward and struck. His movement was faster now, not just in speed, but in intent. Every motion carried purpose, every strike carried weight. The fused energy within him flowed smoothly, reinforcing his body without tearing it apart, controlled, but still dangerous. He attacked the first man again. Boom! This time the man was forced back 2 steps. The second moved in immediately, but Lin Chen was already turning. His counter came instantly. Clang!
The two forces collided mid-air, creating a shock wave that rippled across the clouds. Below, the city trembled, not from destruction, but from pressure. Every cultivator felt it. The difference. This isn't just a fight, it's a declaration. The balance is breaking.
Chapter 94. The city trembles. The battle no longer belonged to the hall or the district. It belonged to the city. Shock waves rolled through Stormfall like waves in a storm-torn sea. Windows shattered. Formations flickered. Even the strongest cultivators felt their breathing grow heavy under the pressure above. On rooftops, powerful figures stood watching, silent, focused. This is getting out of control. If this continues, the entire city will be affected. But no one intervened, because no one could. Above, the clash reached a new level. Lin Chen's breathing grew heavier, his body still strained under the pressure of his breakthrough. The stability he had achieved was not perfect. Small cracks still spread beneath the surface, but he ignored them, because stopping now meant losing. The two leaders attacked in sync, not coordinated, but instinctively aligned. One from above, one from below, a perfect cross strike. Lin Chen's eyes sharpened. He didn't retreat, he didn't block, he stepped forward, into it. Boom! The collision created a massive explosion in the sky, sending clouds scattering in all directions. For a moment, everything vanished in light. Then, three figures emerged, still standing, still fighting. Lin Chen's aura flickered slightly now, not weakening, but fluctuating. The strain was building. "He can't maintain this," one observer muttered below. "He's already reached his limit. Then why is he still pushing?" No one answered, because the answer was obvious, because he had to. Back in the sky, the first man's expression had turned serious. Enough. His aura surged, deeper, more oppressive. The second responded, matching it. For the first time, they were both going all out. Lin Chen felt it instantly. The pressure multiplied. His body trembled, his vision flickered, but his eyes remained locked on them. Good. The word came out low, because this was what he wanted, a true limit, a true test. The heaven-defying stone pulsed again, not violently this time, but steadily, supporting, stabilizing. The fused energy responded, flowing smoother, sharper. Lin Chen took a step forward, then another, against the pressure, against the force, against them. "He's still advancing," someone whispered below. "What is he?" Lin Chen raised his hand. Energy gathered, compressed, refined. This time, not wild, not desperate, but intentional, focused. "Let's end this part." His voice was calm, but carried across the sky. The two leaders moved simultaneously to stop him, but they were a fraction too late. Boom! The clash that followed shook the entire city.
Chapter 95. Aftermath of Destruction. Silence came slowly. Not all at once, but in fragments. The roaring winds faded. The shattered clouds drifted apart. The violent ripples in the air gradually settled. What remained was a sky that looked like it had been torn open and barely stitched back together. Three figures stood suspended above Stormfall City, but no one moved. Lin Chen's arm was still extended from his final strike. The energy around him, gone, not exhausted, spent, completely. His breathing was uneven now, each inhale sharp, each exhale heavy. The cracks across his body had deepened, blood traced faint lines along his arms, but he remained standing. Across from him, the two faction leaders hovered in silence. Their auras had withdrawn, not fully, but enough. Neither attacked, neither spoke, because they had felt it, that final strike. Not overwhelming, not destructive, but refined to a terrifying degree. A strike that didn't waste power, didn't explode outward, but cut through everything in its path. The first man exhaled slowly. You held. The second's gaze remained fixed on Lin Chen. Barely. A pause. But you did. Below, the entire city watched. No one spoke, because no one understood fully what they had just witnessed. Only one thing was clear. The balance of Stormfall City had changed. Lin Chen lowered his arm slowly. His body swayed, just slightly, but enough. The woman in crimson moved instantly, appearing beside him. "You're done," she said quietly. Lin Chen didn't deny it. "For now." She studied him briefly, then looked toward the two leaders. "They've seen enough." The first man nodded once. "Yes." A pause. "This ends here." No protest came, no continuation, because there was no need. The result had already been decided. Lin Chen wasn't defeated, and he hadn't won, but he had done something far more dangerous. He had proven himself, at a level where proof was enough. The second leader turned away first. "This changes things." And with that, he vanished. The first man remained a moment longer. His gaze lingered on Lin Chen. "You forced the board to shift." A faint smile appeared. "Let's see how long you can stand on it." Then he too disappeared. The sky finally stilled. Lin Chen exhaled one last time and fell. Chapter 96. A Name That Spreads. He didn't hit the ground. The woman in crimson caught him mid-air. "Reckless idiot," she muttered, but her grip was steady. She landed lightly atop a quiet rooftop, far from the eyes of the crowd. Lin Chen's consciousness flickered. In, out. Fragments of awareness remained. "Not finished." His voice was faint. She glanced down at him. "You are for now." No argument came, because even he knew his body had reached its absolute limit. Everything after this would be recovery. But outside, the city had already begun to move. Stormfall City never stayed still for long, and news moved faster than anything else. A newcomer fought two faction leaders and survived, forced them to stop. Who is he? Names began to circulate, rumors twisted, stories exaggerated. But one thing remained consistent: Lin Chen. The name spread through every layer of the city, from outer streets to inner circles to the hidden core. Even those who hadn't witnessed the battle felt its aftermath. This isn't normal. He's not normal. Someone like that can't be ignored. In a quiet chamber deep within the city, Yan Ri stood by a window, looking toward the sky. So he really did it. A subordinate behind him spoke carefully. "Should we act?" Yan Ri shook his head. "No." A pause. "Not yet." His eyes narrowed slightly. Right now, he's more valuable alive. Elsewhere, in the highest tower, the third faction leader stood silently, his gaze distant. Interesting. No further words came, but his decision had already begun to form. Back on the rooftop, Lin Chen lay still, unconscious now, but even in that state, his aura remained, faint but present, stable, changed. The woman in crimson sat nearby, watching him quietly. "You've made things complicated. For everyone." The wind passed softly through the city, carrying whispers, carrying a name that would no longer be ignored. Lin Chen.
Darkness returned, but this time it wasn't empty. Lin Chen's consciousness drifted slowly, suspended between awareness and oblivion. Faint sensations reached him first. Pain, deep, widespread, unrelenting. Then, warmth. A steady flow of energy moved through his meridians, gentle yet firm, stabilizing the chaotic remnants of his earlier breakthrough. Someone's helping me. His thoughts were slow, fragmented, but clear enough. He tried to move, failed. His body refused. Still alive, though. A faint sense of relief passed through him. Time blurred. Moments passed, or hours, or days, until he opened his eyes. The ceiling above him was unfamiliar, simple, wooden. The air was quiet, still, not the chaos of Stormfall City. "Where? Awake already?" A voice answered calmly. Lin Chen turned his head slightly. The woman in crimson sat nearby, leaning against the wall, her gaze steady. "You again." She smirked faintly. "Disappointed?" Lin Chen exhaled slowly. "Not really." He tried to sit up. Pain shot through his entire body. He stopped. "Bad idea." She chuckled softly. "You think?" A brief silence followed. Lin Chen closed his eyes for a moment, assessing his condition. Meridians, stabilized but strained. Energy, low but steady. Core, different. His eyes opened again. "I broke through." She nodded. "Barely." A pause. And recklessly. Lin Chen didn't argue that. But it worked. She didn't deny that either. "Yes." Another pause. "Which is why you're still alive." Lin Chen looked at his hand slowly. Faint traces of that fused energy still lingered, but now it was quieter, more stable, not fully under control, but no longer on the verge of collapse. "I can feel it. The change, the difference. He wasn't just stronger. He was deeper, more complete." The woman watched him carefully. "You've stepped into a different level now." Lin Chen glanced at her. And everything from here on," she said calmly, "gets harder." A faint smile appeared on his lips. "Good." She shook her head slightly. "You're either fearless," a pause, "or stupid." Lin Chen leaned back slightly. "Still deciding?" She smiled faintly. "Maybe." Silence settled between them again. Then Lin Chen spoke. "You saved me." Not a question, a statement. She didn't respond immediately. Then, "Yes." A pause. "Why?" Her gaze shifted slightly. "Because letting you die there would have been a waste." Lin Chen studied her. "That's all?" She met his eyes again. "For now." That answer was honest and incomplete. Lin Chen didn't press further, because he understood. In this city, nothing was simple. Nothing was free.
Chapter 98. The First Alliance. By the time Lin Chen could stand again, 3 days had passed. Stormfall City hadn't slowed down. If anything, it had become more active. But the atmosphere had changed, more cautious, more aware. Because now there was something new in the city, a variable. Lin Chen stepped outside the small courtyard where he had been recovering. The air felt different, or perhaps he did. Every movement was smoother now, more controlled, his senses sharper, more precise. This is better. Of course it is. The woman in crimson appeared beside him again. You survived your own madness. Lin Chen smirked faintly. Barely. She crossed her arms. Still counts. A brief silence passed. Then her expression shifted, slightly more serious. We need to talk. Lin Chen glanced at her. About your situation. He raised an eyebrow. Complicated? She gave him a look. You have no idea. They walked slowly through the quiet area. The three factions, she began, are no longer just watching you. I figured. They're deciding. A pause. Whether to recruit you, another pause, or remove you. Lin Chen nodded. Expected. She stopped walking, then turned to face him. That includes us. Lin Chen's eyes narrowed slightly. Us? She didn't smile this time. Yes. A brief silence. Then, I'm offering you something different. Lin Chen waited. Not control. A pause. Not ownership. Her gaze remained steady. An alliance. The word hung between them. Different from before. Not a demand. Not a command. A choice. Lin Chen considered it. Terms? Her expression softened slightly. Simple. A pause. We don't restrict you. Another pause. You don't act against us. A pause. Information is shared. And when necessary, she met his gaze directly. We fight together. Lin Chen remained silent for a moment, analyzing, weighing. This wasn't like the previous offers. No chains, no hierarchy, but still a connection, a commitment. And what do you get out of it? She smiled faintly. The same thing you do. A pause. An advantage. Lin Chen exhaled slowly. Fair. Another moment passed. Then he extended his hand. Then we have a deal. She looked at it briefly, then took it. Good. A faint ripple passed through the air. Not energy, but something else. A shift. Because this was the first time since entering Stormfall City that Lin Chen had chosen to stand with someone. Not under them, not against them, but alongside. And in a city like this, that changed everything.
Chapter 99. Shadows Move Together. Stormfall City had a way of testing every decision, even the ones that seemed right. By nightfall, word had already spread through the deeper layers, not loudly, not openly, but enough. He aligned with her. So that faction made its move first. Or maybe he's using them. Speculation grew, carefully, because nothing in Stormfall was ever taken at face value. Lin Chen stood atop a narrow tower overlooking the shifting lights of the city below. The air was calmer tonight, but the undercurrent sharper. They've reacted faster than expected. You expected anything less? Her voice came from behind him. The woman in crimson stepped forward, her presence as composed as ever. But now there was a subtle difference. Not distance, alignment. Lin Chen glanced at her. Your name. She paused slightly, then smiled. Su Yan. Lin Chen nodded once. Lin Chen. A brief silence followed. Names exchanged, simple but meaningful.
Su Yan stepped beside him, looking out over the city. From now on, things won't be as simple as before. They already weren't. She smirked faintly. True. A pause. Two factions are already moving. Lin Chen's eyes narrowed slightly. Directly? Not yet. Her tone sharpened slightly, but they're testing the edges. As if on cue, a faint ripple passed through the air. Lin Chen felt it instantly. There. Across the rooftops, shadows moved, fast, silent. Not one, not two, many. They're not hiding, Lin Chen observed. They don't need to. Su Yan's gaze hardened. This isn't an attack. It's a message. A pause. They're testing the alliance. The shadows stopped, positioned around them, surrounding but not closing in. Lin Chen exhaled slowly. So they're testing the alliance. Exactly. A figure stepped forward from the shadows, not one of the leaders, but not weak either. You made your choice quickly, the figure said calmly. Su Yan didn't respond. Lin Chen stepped slightly forward, and you came quickly. The figure smiled faintly. Of course. A pause. New alliances are fragile. Another step forward, and fragile things, the air tightened, are easy to break. Silence. The tension thickened. But Lin Chen didn't move, didn't react. He simply looked at the figure. Try. One word, flat, unshaken. The figure's smile faded slightly. For a brief moment, nothing happened. Then, the shadows moved.
Chapter 100. The First Joint Operation. They attacked without warning, not recklessly, not chaotically, but with precision. 3 from the front, 2 from above, the rest waiting, testing. Lin Chen moved first, a single step forward, and he broke their formation. Boom! His strike landed before the first attacker could fully react, sending him crashing across the rooftop. At the same time, Su Yan moved, silent, elegant, deadly. She didn't clash head-on. She slipped between them. A flick of her wrist, and one opponent froze mid-motion. His aura severed. He collapsed instantly. Lin Chen's eyes flickered slightly. Efficient. No wasted movement, she replied calmly. The attackers adjusted quickly, faster than before, because now they understood. This wasn't just 2 individuals, this was coordination, unspoken, natural. The next wave came harder, stronger. Lin Chen stepped into it, not holding back. His refined energy surged through his movements, every strike precise, every motion calculated. Boom! Crack! 2 more fell, but one slipped past, a blade aimed for his back. Before it could land, Su Yan appeared. Clang! She blocked it effortlessly. Watch your blind spots, she said calmly. Lin Chen smirked slightly. Noted. They moved again, together. No need for words, no need for planning, because both understood. Survive, control, end it. The remaining attackers hesitated, just for a moment, and that moment was enough. Lin Chen closed the distance instantly. Boom! The last one was sent crashing down. Silence fell over the rooftops. The shadows, gone. No retreat sound, no lingering presence, just absence. They've seen enough, Su Yan said quietly. Lin Chen exhaled slowly. For now. A pause. They'll come again. Of course they will. She turned slightly, looking toward the deeper parts of the city. But next time, her eyes sharpened.
It won't be a test. Lin Chen followed her gaze. A faint smile appeared. Good. Because now they weren't just reacting anymore. They were part of the game, and for the first time, Lin Chen wasn't alone on the board.